That's exactly what I noticed when he was interviewed on Sean McDowell's YouTube channel. Yeah. He was asked the question, so what does this mean, Dr. Stripling? Right. And he goes, you want me to take my scholarly cap off? And and then he takes his scholarly cap off, metaphorically speaking, and then goes, what this means is that Joshua, at this time, the Israelites could write. Of course, it seems to be a debate among scholars whether or not Israelites or Judahites or whoever in the region may have been able to write. I know that Finkelstein doesn't necessarily think so. Other scholars think maybe they did have writing. Who cares at the end of the day? But the point is like, this somehow proves that Joshua and them had writing, and therefore Moses could have had writing in the Bible, could have been written as it's described in the Bible. Like, it brings credibility, again, like you said, back to the Bible as being the foundation. Right. And, screw all these other scholars. Pretty much what I hear. They're all wrong because this little 2 centimeters?
Yes, it's postage stamp size. It's not big at all. And you can't open it. Remember, what they're claiming is there's an inscription on the inside of it, but unfortunately you can't open it and see it. And, unlike the phylactery scrolls, these tefillin scrolls that are in the Dead Sea Scrolls, where they write in a minuscule, this really, really micro text, and they write out in lines. We can see those, right? We have those from the Dead Sea Scrolls. These guys are supposedly writing at this size on lead. So that means they're using a stylus and carving it. And of course, it's absurd. There are no letters there. And of course, they're not writing in lines. They're writing, it's not there, but it has to be there because that's the only way they're going to get any press.
So I want to take your best guess, because we're guessing. We don't have the object. We don't even have the images like we'd like that they haven't really put out. I've heard through the grapevine, Dr. Gad Barnea actually said that you may have thought, and it's just a guess, that it might be this little clamp or clasp or something for string, like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. But there's even a debate on whether or not this is really as old as they claim, because they want it as old. I thought I overheard Dr. Stripling say 15th century BC. Right. Now, I've also heard it could be Roman era, and that this lead, we have the region where lead would have been excavated. Mm-hmm. And so can you get us into this whole argument here? Like, take us closer into what is this thing?
And this is an old debate over, we've sourced the lead to this place here, but again, it's also, where you make paper, where if you find the source of something and we say, okay, this dates to this century, that doesn't necessarily mean that the lead wasn't brought, on a ship from over there to the Holy Land, right, over into Canaan. And then it's there for a long time, reused, and then at a later date was used for something else, right? I know the individual. I'm not gonna say names, but I know the individual that they are citing as saying that it's this old person. Again, I'm curious to see what this individual actually, the scholar, legit scholar, good scholar, digs in Israel. One of my grad students is actually digging with them now. I'm curious to see what they actually come down with, because they keep saying, and when we get this person's final report. Yeah, you notice that they don't have that yet. This notion that just because this metal came from a place where the ions and it looks like it comes from this source over here, and this definitely comes from this age. That's great. Raw materials aside, defixios usually come from a later date. They exist. In fact, one of the people on the publication team wrote a book about these things. But if you look at the book and the defixios in the book, they're all from a much, much later period. If you look at the scans that some of the people on this team have made, they're from a much later and a much more easily legible period. And that's my point. They have all these academic people who are proficient in making these scans, and that's what they did. There's some of these people made the scans and did the technology. Good, great job. And then you've got Dr. Stripling and Dr. Galil, who say, and here's what the letters are and what they say. And I'm willing to bet the money in my wallet that the people who made the scans weren't in on determining the letters and the interpretation. They're not philologists of Semitic language. They're not archaeologists of the Holy Land. So I think you have a team that's making the scans, and then you have Dr. Galil and Stripling trying to offer this interpretation, but they put all of the names up there at the top of the publication because they're trying to leverage the credibility of this niche technical journal onto all of their claims, including the interpretation of these letters that aren't actually letters, so that they can say, see, we published in a peer-reviewed journal, it made it through peer review, see, scholars actually agree with us. No, we don't. No legitimate scholar in philology or biblical studies or archaeology agrees with you. Nobody does.
So this lead, if I'm not mistaken, just like silver, just like gold, can be melted down and reused several times. Is this not the case?
Yeah, it's lead. It's malleable, right? It's very soft. And it degrades, right? We know that it degrades. And so you use it. Apparently it's incredibly fragile because they can't open it. It's degraded lead. They admit this. That's why they can't open it. And so they're taking these scans and they're seeing, and in one of my videos, I actually take some of their own scans. Again, I use their own published material. And I show, you can see the shadows, you can see the contours, you can see the cracks, you can see the puncture marks. And sometimes they see these as letters and sometimes they don't. And the arbitrary nature of everything they do, plus the random, line of where the letters are, everything about this is just, let's say it in a kind way, doesn't follow any legitimate academic standard. And it's why scholars are just rejecting this out of hand. The only people you see endorsing this, promoting this, are people who are on the Stripling Galil team, right? The Associates for Biblical Research, or these guys, or people who are fundamentalist, conservative, evangelical Christians who already want to believe this. They are looking for evidence like these guys are. Oh, I want to believe. That's why we made this meme of, from the X-Files, I want to believe, and we have the thing. They have every right to do it. It's not illegal to say absurd things and to make false, or to make, let's say, it's not illegal to make claims that cannot be substantiated. They have every right to do that. I just feel bad for the people who aren't trained in archaeology, who are just being duped, by this media campaign.